breeze blowing, storm clouds moving in. Whatever's gonna happen, it's about to begin. I remember what the drunk donkey told me when he said, son, don't fear. Mike's where the page life is about to appear. Then he's gonna tell you about the wind and the rain. Gonna tell you which way it's going, and if it's gonna be a hurricane. Don't you worry about the news that they try to hide. Just click on Mike's page, Drunk Donkey Nationwide. Well, there'll always be some haters, but they don't understand that Mike's got a friend and 100,000 more across the land. Well, if you want to know it first and you want to know it right and you want to have time to plan, Drunk Donkey Nation tells your friend Mike, he's your man. Then he's gonna tell you all about the wind and the rain. Gonna tell you if it's gonna be a storm or if it's gonna be a hurricane. Don't you worry about the news others try to hide. Click on Mike's page, Drunk Donkey Nationwide. Yeah, here at Mike's page, Drunk Donkey Nationwide.
All right, every morning, blah, blah, blah. I hope I don't talk like that today. Good morning, everybody. That's my favorite tune from Andy Simmons. Oh, look at that. Louis waving. All these years of trying to wave. Look, he's waving. Wave again. Wave, Louis. You can do it. Wave. All right, so hey, good morning, Coneheads and Mike's Weather Page fans. Tropics are alive, so we have a lot of people joining in, probably wondering what the heck's going on. So we're going to keep it short and sweet with the hellos and goofiness and try to get right into it. Got to kind of amp it up a little bit now that we got Hurricane Isaiah. So let's show you a little hunter. This is a Hurricane Louis. Everybody likes the puppy breaks, right, Don? So this will keep the anxiety down. Two cute pups in the morning, Louis and Hunter. So no worries, right? Let's talk it all out. The hurricane is not looking that impressive, so that's good news right now. But we got to really pay attention to possible changes coming to the NHC advisory at 11. We'll see. So there we go. There's the boys. They're twinsies. Hunter, Louis. Soon to be more famous. Hopefully one day. So, all right. So, what's cooking? First and foremost, we got to thank our sponsor here, Mike's Weather Page, on the Facebook Live. Brought to you by ABC Fine Wine and Spirits, located here in Florida. Florida is watching very, 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 very close for this weekend. Possibly tomorrow evening, we can start seeing warnings up for Florida. We don't now officially, but man, we got enough models to say that we could be unofficially in a, I hate to say the word hurricane, but no. So, all right, I'm going to show you all the models, maps. Big thanks to ABC, that crew down there, Sean and company. They really support me. I don't know why. They love me. So, big thanks to them. All right, so let me close that out. Let's look at the latest. Again, I usually say hi to everybody. I have a lot of great supporters, but I'm going to focus solely on talking out loud. All right, so doesn't mean I don't love you guys and gals. It just means we got a lot to talk about. So, all right, so immediate impacts obviously are down in the Bahamas and the islands. Hurricane warning are up all the way through pretty much all of Bahamas. The NHC, when I woke up this morning, so when I went to bed at midnight, it became a hurricane. It wasn't supposed to be a hurricane. We always talk about intensity models have stunk it up this year. Modeling in general, in my opinion, has been terrible this year. We saw it with Hannah. Blobs and squalls. We joke about it. I got a T-shirt. You can buy a T-shirt because that's what happens. These blobs blow up. And unfortunately, the NHC is showing a possibility of 100-mile-an-hour winds for the Bahamas. So that's when I woke up and said, "Oh boy," that's because 100 mile an hour. That's no longer a minimal hurricane. That's a little bit stronger. So they're now worried a little bit that Isaiah will become stronger for the Bahamas. Now, look at this trend, 90, 85, 85, 80, 75. They are expecting a weakening. Okay, this is official forecast stuff. We're going to talk all about the official stuff first. Now, the other things out here, don't worry about. This I told you a million times yesterday, don't worry about this thing. This little guy might be a little Bermuda rain, so we're not going to worry about these two. No, don't worry about these two. We're going to focus on Isaiah. So the point I made earlier is this. Yes, I'm going to show you some models, and we're going to look at the latest Euro into Florida. Okay, I'm not going to spin it any different. I'm seeing a lot of ensembles showing more west push. Now, a couple things on this. Just because you see a spaghetti model going into Florida doesn't mean we're talking Category 4 hurricane, okay? Weaker goes west. It's always like back in the freaking 1800s, before satellites, that's what they were saying. Old Doc from Back to the Future. Weaker goes west, Marty. So that's always been the old school thinking. The weaker a storm goes, the west it goes. Now, that's not always the case, but generally. So I think the models are picking up on this. The Euro especially. Now, when I say South Florida, East Coast, if this thing weakens, it could still be a hurricane, but a strengthening Cat 2, 3, 4 hurricane, likely will stay off the coast. Stronger system the NHC's gambling on is going to get pulled to the north, okay? But the latest modeling shows a little more weaker into Florida, so I'm going to show you all that. But this is the official words. Now, listen. Florida only under a tropical storm watch. So before you get all worked up and worried, the NHC is the official source. Hurricane warnings in the Bahamas, yes. The timing, according to NHC rules, is hurricane watches should be put out 48 hours before conditions could exist. So we're looking at 2 p.m. here tomorrow. Today's Friday, right, Julie? Yes, today's Friday. So I don't know. I don't know. They must be, unless at 11 o'clock we see I would bet a lot that we're going to see hurricane watches or even warnings up for Florida at 11. Now, listen, that's only an hour and a half from now, but we've seen enough track changes that it's going to get awfully close to South Florida. Now, listen, I don't mean to even be focusing heavily on Florida. We got Bahamas worried about a 100-mile-an-hour hurricane. 100-mile-an-hour hurricanes, listen, the stronger the storm, the bigger the surge. Okay, surge maps will be updated soon. Wider system pushes more water. So, yes, we have surge issues down in the Bahamas. We have heavy rain, slow moving. Another note here, looking at the latest NHC 3-day track. Slow moving. Lots of rain over the Bahamas. We saw some of the damage in Puerto Rico with flooding. So this big component of a slow-moving tropical system, lots of rain, and unfortunately possibly 100-mile-an-hour winds. So remember, NHC always says 3-day cone. The cone is anywhere the center of the storm can pass. They stress, do not focus on the center line, even though most of the time it's pretty darn close. But they also remind people, anybody in the cone is technically could have the center of the storm pass. So just because we don't have watches and warnings yet, and you're still in the cone East Coast, okay? This is not a guarantee that we're going to see a skirt. Now, looking long range, we'll focus heavily on that here in a little bit after Florida. But more and more modeling is now taking this into the Carolinas. So that's another step 2 of the whole Jumanji level 8 that we are now in. So there's that. So let's look at the latest hurricane spaghetti models. We're going to look at a lot of things. Tropical tidbits. We love Levi. His just updated to 12Z. 12Z are just global models that got initialized a few hours ago. A lot of them aren't being fed with current tracks and trends. But overall, the models have shifted a tick to the east or west, closer to Florida. Still, majority are offshore. good news. There are a couple outliers into Florida, but unfortunately for the Carolinas, when I say Carolinas, South Carolina, you're included in Carolina. There are a lot now showing direct landfall early in the week, and that extends up into Virginia and in the eastern seaboard. This thing is going to have a building high pressure. This has never changed. We've always had this weakness that allowed this turn, and we've always had a building high pressure system. And when you get a building high pressure system, the the Bermuda high, it's going to be a little strong, and it's going to unfortunately push. Now this is going to get tied into a front, so there will be a forward speed. It'll actually accelerate along. Sometimes that actually aids development, or at least maintains intensity. So Levi talked a lot about that last night. That a lot of the models last night were showing an intensity, a strengthening once it made a turn. With the possibility of a little weakening down here. So nothing's played out like they thought. So we got to look at things in real time. Then we're going to go and do that here in a second. But I wanted to show this model map too, the Southwest Water Management Site. Now this is a lot of spaghetti. You might be like, what the heck are we looking at here? But what we are looking at, this site puts all the ensembles from the GFS and the Euro along with the actual global models. So what we're seeing here, obviously we're seeing more and more clipping Florida here, but we're seeing a lot of the ensembles now into Florida. Again, that would be a little weaker system. However, now that we have an 80-mile-an-hour hurricane, a weaker system could still be a hurricane. If it's 100 mile an hour and it's expected to weaken, so take that, for what it's worth. A little weaker system, I don't want to discredit a weak hurricane or weak anything, because, direct landfall for anybody, and the big deal with something like this, water spouts, tornadoes, the closer this thing gets to Florida, we're going to be dealing with a lot more than just a direct landfall. We're going to be talking about, squalls coming in off the water. We're going to be talking about a tornado threat. The Gulf Stream will fuel these squalls. So closer to Florida, even without a direct landfall, we're seeing that trend, which would increase the nasty weather on the East Coast. And then again, if we go to the north, almost every single ensemble and every single model now predicting some sort of landfall. So that's, best case scenario for you guys in the Carolinas would be a Florida landfall that would create weakening. It might pop back over the Atlantic, but it would have less time to redevelop. So weaker system for the Carolina if it crosses Florida. Stronger system for the Carolinas if it stays off of Florida. Down south, rapid development over the Bahamas would likely keep it pulled maybe more to the north. Stronger systems go north. A little weaker system of the Bahamas might allow more of a push into Florida. So, 11 o'clock advisory will be coming out real soon, and we'll see exactly what the National Weather Hurricane Center says. All right, so let's look at your current modeling. Let's take a look at this system. This is on weathernerds.org. So there is some dry air. Good news. There's a couple inhibiting factors right now. It's very close to land. It's making a little more west track than was predicted. But there is a little bit of dry air, which is, helps choke storms. That's coming in from the south here, so we could, hopefully get a little dry air and trained in the south, but it's not showing up yet. The dry air kind of being pushed away from the moisture envelope here. So we're going to be watching that. We're getting a little burst of convection here, lightning. So it's fighting. There's no signs of any weakening, and there's very little signs of any strengthening. So it's maintaining itself right now. So that's good. Like I said, the shear I posted earlier on another post is heavy currently over top of Isaiah, but we're starting to see some convective bursts now. So it's hanging on. You can see the low level clouds, not the most impressive looking ball of convection, which is good news. we don't want this thing to rapidly intensify. Trust me. This area has been prone for that. Midnight, I was shocked that it became a hurricane, just like everybody else. I was shocked this morning to see the NHC now, who's usually conservative, say 100-mile-an-hour winds over the Bahamas. There's going to be a light pocket of shear ahead. Right now it's experiencing shear to the north and to the east, but there is a lowering area of shear up ahead, and that's a little concerning because it'll be away from land and possibly enhance a little bit. So when you have one negative, you have one positive, and you can look at it negative or positive whichever way you want, but we have offsetting penalties right now, so it's going to maintain itself, and unfortunately Florida's going to have to watch close. Water's super duper hot. We have ocean heat content. We talk about this a lot. The waters are definitely strong for favoring some development in the Bahamas. So a couple more maps here we're going to look at. Hurricane hunters are flying out there right now. They're going to be out there all day. Luckily, the pressure has not increased. That's great news. It's 995, 996. So we don't want to see a big pressure increase. We'll look at the lower level clouds. So it's maintaining itself. And, if you're not afraid of a minimal hurricane, then you can turn off the screen. Because I know that some weather fans believe that unless it's a Category 4, we're hyping. But sorry you feel that way. Where the heck is where? Oh, here it is, hurricane. I'm looking for Invest. Her hurricane right in front of me. So, and by the way, it's July 31st. Who the heck would have thought, right? It's July 31st. I was supposed to be drinking Bud Light Seltzer tomorrow night up at Lake Lanier, listening to Luke Combs, passing out in a chair, and instead we're going to be tracking a hurricane. The whole reason I booked first week of August, was to get away from this. And here we are. But we are going to have a couple weeks off. Trust me. Where'd our satellite go? Come back. We are going to have a couple weeks of lull because the MJO pattern definitely is favoring about a 2-week slowdown in the tropics. And I'll show you that if you want. But just take my word for it. We're going to have a quiet couple weeks so you guys can all drink Bud Light Seltzers by the pool and whatever else you want to do. So here's your morning look. This is a great, this is cyclonic weather. I got the link up here in the very upper. I got all kinds of links that I forget about. God, there's so many stuff. But anyway, cyclone weather up there. And this is a great map because it shows you lower level wind spin. And you can see that lower level wind spin. Convection is actually a little bit to the south and a little bit to the east. So it's not perfectly stacked. However, things take time, and it's still trying to recover from its little crossover of Hispaniola. So we're gonna have to watch this in real time, unfortunately. Some of your latest models. Let me show you the latest models. So the latest Euro. We got to start taking models seriously now when we're talking a storm that's only 12 hours away. So every model run, I'll be posting more and more because they're getting closer to reality. But the latest Euro, 06Z, this isn't on a lot of sites. That runs now every 6 hours like the GFS. So this is going to have to take into account the NHC's decision at 11 o'clock what they're going to do. But the latest Euro, minimal hurricane into South Florida. So again, if minimal hurricanes don't scare you, then don't be scared. Some weakening is expected. Lots of shear ahead, apparently. Like I said, though, I've never believed intensity forecasts. Look at Hannah, blobs and squalls, right? But as far as the latest Euro, it is showing a landfall into Florida. So it goes back to what I say all the time. I like using models for direction and track before intensity. Intensity models kind of a little bit of common sense you have to use along the way. But anyway, just Just point it out there. Here, but see, here's the latest Euro weakening across Florida, and then it kind of like just doesn't do much. It's gonna, like I said, Carolinas. If you're worried about the Carolinas, you're rooting for a Florida landfall, because a Florida landfall is going to weaken our system, and it's going to bring a weaker low pressure system to you. So, but that's the latest Euro. And let me show you some rain forecasts. And I showed a lot about rain. Depending on where our system goes, depends on what Florida's going to get for rain. Our system goes to the East Coast, almost Zippo rain for the Florida Peninsula. If this thing takes a track like the Euro, and the CMC showing it, a couple others are showing, prepare for a lot of rain. That might, that's where the rain forecasts right now are useless, because rain forecast is all dependent on future track. But obviously, we could have some really heavy rains in parts of Florida if the Euro is correct. All right. So we're going to go back to tropical. Well, there's another model we can look at on this site. We can look at the hurricane-specific models. HWRF and HMON, I thought, have done a really good job this season. So here's your latest HWRF on our system, and it continues to strengthen it over Bahamas, and it keeps it very close to the East Coast, really close to the Cape, before a turn, which is expected with a possible landfall into Carolina, South Carolina. So unfortunately, we have an audience from Virginia to Key West watching right now, and then beyond New York City. All right, so there's the latest at, and then the other hurricane specific model. Which one did I click? I forget now. Did I have the HMON? This is the HMON. This is the other one. HMON. If you want to throw a wrench in things, obviously strengthening hurricane over the Bahamas and off the Florida coast, that keeps it stronger, and a landfall up into the Carolinas as a pretty strong system right here. 977 millibars. So strengthening system up into the Carolinas. So there you go. Off the Florida coast, and then beyond Delaware, Jersey, it could skirt right up along the coast here. So that's, definitely a scenario. Yes, that's Pennsylvania. I got my Louis cup. Again, I apologize for not reading comments. We have to get down to the nitty gritty. People are definitely nervous. So yeah, so things are changing. Again, listen. If you don't know who I am, I'm just a weather blogger. Mike's Weather Page. Don't worry if you don't want to worry. Then pay attention to National Hurricane Center. As of now, only tropical storm watches in Florida, okay? But the official discussion on when they issue watches and warnings, hurricane watch is issued when there's a possibility you could experience hurricane conditions within 48 hours. Hurricane warning is going to be posted within 36 hours. So we are in that window. So at 11 o'clock, if we don't see hurricane watches and warnings, these models are useless to the National Hurricane Center. They are not buying it. But the fact that our system is not strengthening at all, it's going to continue this more westward track, and definitely be more of an issue for Florida. So there you go. All right, so let's look at some more ensembles. We can go to weathernerds.org, and then we'll look at some individual models. Weather Nerds updates their ensembles. These update after operational runs. So let's see if the overnight Euro did run. All right, so let's look at the 5-day. Here's the 5-day. This isn't 6Z ensembles though, but still, you can see the fanning. And this basically tells the whole story. European ensembles. The mean is right down the Florida East Coast. Stronger system stays over water to the east. Unfortunately, that means a stronger system for the Carolinas and northward. Weaker system down into Florida, crosses Florida, obviously loses its punch, takes away a little bit more risk for the East Coast. So this tells you a lot. This is 00Z. The latest 06 is posted. That's 5-day. That's good. Here it is. All right. So here's the latest GFS ensembles, and guess what? The GFS has been the outlier showing an East Coast or east off a east path, but the latest GFS ensembles now more into Florida. What that tells me is the GFS is now adjusting its thinking that it's going to be East Coast, and we're going to see a 12Z movement back to Florida. You notice how I keep saying Florida? Florida, Florida. Not that I'm wish casting. Heaven forbid. And then the UK, this kind of the worst case scenario, I guess, a little brush to Florida, and then obviously strengthening storms. So so the possibilities make sense, right? We got a lot to watch, and really at this point, it's watching things in real time. I've updated a couple links, by the way, on the site. I've changed the radar to Florida. Here's your wind map. Great imagery here showing you the winds are now building on the south side of the system. 99% of hurricanes have most of the heaviest winds, storms to the northeast side of a system. This thing could be 50 miles offshore of Florida and get almost nothing. Remember Hurricane Matthew? It did create a lot of damage, not taking anything away. But there was people, 20, 30, 40 miles inland from Matthew didn't get anything. So it's such a fine line of where this center is off the coast of Florida. Because the heaviest winds are off to the east side. So when you read that the tropical storm force winds extend out 150, 200 miles, whatever they're saying now, it doesn't mean that they're going to extend that way to the west. And like I mentioned last night in my live, I've made that mistake before. And I definitely was guilty of hyping that statement because I didn't understand that statement. So back 3 or 4 years ago, I was drawing a map. I've never remember this, and it was 50 miles offshore. But I read the NHC discussion where it said tropical storm force winds extend out 200 miles. And so I just figured, we're going to have tropical storm force winds 150 miles into Florida, which meant maybe Tampa. But I wasn't looking at the reality that it was the winds were pushed the other way. So the storm could skirt Florida and bring nothing to middle Florida, west coast of Florida. If the original forecast stands where it's just offshore, Tampa might get nothing. You might get a couple stray showers. So it's all dependent on where this goes. Weaker system goes into South Florida, could be a Category 1. It'll remain weak as it comes up through the state, but it's also going to bring a lot of rain with it. So, if you're down the Keys, you're down at, if you got plans, and there's a big lobster tournament, or not know if it was a tournament or lobster season, but there's a lot of people down on Key West right now that you should be watching close. If this thing continues this little bit of track to the west. So anyway, listen, who just said the weather's blowing it off? Lynette. Yeah, I post the same stuff in both, but we have a little supporter chat room for Facebook supporters, and I said that last night. I said, does it seem like we're not getting the press? Now, I'm not on the Weather Channel. I'm talking like when we go to eat at Chili's, or I don't see the normal Hurricane Central feeling that we get every season. Maybe that's a good thing. People don't like hype, but I just don't. I mentioned it to some people last night. They're like, what are you talking about? Hurricane coming. I'm like, so I don't know. Maybe it'll be nothing. There's our car warranty calling every day, same time. Or maybe it's a prankster. Remember that night so we're going to show you some models now. So I am going to keep talking weather, but I got a prank phone call at 2 a.m. one time, and all the guy said was hype, 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 hype. He went on for like a minute, and that was when we were talking about Dorian. And this was when Dorian was nothing. And I'm like, listen, if this thing doesn't hit the high mountains of Hispaniola, we could have trouble in the Bahamas. So I get a 2 o'clock in the morning hype phone call. I'm like, are you kidding me? I think a Category 5 that sat on top of Bahamas was not hyping. All right, so this this little bubble of convection. I love going back and watching these things in real time because now we're seeing a little bit of sign. This is around. Let's take a look at our wind map. This is around 74.22. So 74.22. Let's see what's happening in real time. When I say watch things in real time, this is real time. So 74.22. 70. Well, do you want to round up? 73, 78, 20. So I can make it what I want here. Let's see. Right there. Nope. That's close. But 74, 21. So we're definitely all right. So this, when I say watch things in real time, this is what I do. I mean, not that it's even right, but if you really want to follow the storm, you can see it on these wind maps, and you can see what's really happening. These are satellite derived winds. They're not always 100%. The hurricane hunters provide the most important information because it samples way outside the center. It samples air, humidity, trends. So this is like an initial verification, and the hurricane hunters back it up with even more data that the hurricane models need. And this is that heavy shear to the north right now. We can see that 500 millibar looking pretty healthy, but there is some upper level shear still coming in from the south. See, this is an upper level high pressure system to the east now, coming up from the south. But you can see, there's another car warranty. Or maybe I won the publisher's clearinghouse. So here's the shear, to the east. Remember I told you guys when I paused for a second, it's because I'm confused between east or west. But it is weakening ahead. That's not a good sign. So that's not good for development. Weakening shear, not good. What is good is hopefully dry air. So like I said, maybe there'll be offsetting penalties. So here is the dry air. Hopefully some of this can get down inside our system, keep it maintaining some weakness. But other than that, it's really the only negative right now going against our system. Isaiah. And I will be on the Drew Garabo show today, 3:30. John's got me coming on, so if you're in the local area, check me out. I'll be on the radio talking Isaiah. All right. So there it is. There's the dry air. So shear's relaxing. So let's look at all the factors. All right. It's no longer a 1,000-mile wide system. I checked it out a little bit ago. It's shrinking a little bit. Kind of a bad thing because now it's consolidating. It's got a pretty good moisture band. That's a negative. When I say negative, it means it's bad for development. It's got dry air trying to come in from the south. That's positive. And we have shear expected up here, which is a positive. So there's a lot of negatives and positives, but we got a blow up happening right here where the center is, and that's a negative positive. I don't even know where I was going with that now. So I know you guys are chatting, man. We got the best people. I love you guys. I had to delete one person in the last 2 months. I can't believe it. How can you have almost 1 million followers, and I can count on one hand the amount of people that have been negative? So, hey Casper, what's up, buddy? I know you help a lot of people, man. You're great dude. Shelly too. I know a lot of y'all. Whitney taking over the chat. Wish I could do it all. So when I was on the Tom and Dan show, they said they had a bet that they thought I had a producer and more people. I'm like, no, man, I'm a one-man band. I post on Twitter and Instagram and weather and have a real life with kids and other work and somehow take it all in. I don't know how. So hey, listen, too, if you're just tuning in, a couple things. Long range, I don't see anything happening in 2 weeks. Okay? There's that little spot that got hyped up like yesterday. I've seen this so many times over the years. When we're stressing out about a system and then another one pops up, it creates even more hype. And everybody's like, oh my God, we got another one coming. But it's already fizzling. So I told everybody that. Don't worry about it. This little guy could be a little something, maybe Rainmaker for Bermuda. Don't worry about it. All right, so let's look at the individual models. We haven't done that yet. All right, so let me take you a quick tour on the site. Oh my God, we got 10,000 people watching. That's scary. So we hit 44,000 in Dorian. Now listen, if 11 o'clock comes around and we get a hurricane watch or warning in Florida, by tonight, our live will have 20,000 you watch, because there's no hype in the media really right now. And once, if we get hurricane, I would almost bet money. I'll bet money. What do I have laying around here? I got I'll bet a poop bag. Did I show the dogs yet? Okay, look at that. So I'll bet a poop bag. Every good dog owner has a poop bag laying around their desk. Julie spent 20 minutes with Hunter outside because he looked like he had to go to the bathroom. What's he do? He comes inside, runs to Emily's bedroom, and lays out a big one. So yeah. So if you're in South Florida, go to the stores now before there's craziness. Get your gas. Gas short. All right, so let's talk seriously. Hurricane warning for South Florida. If, it's not official, but if we got a hurricane warning, gas is going to disappear. Toilet paper has already disappeared. So some people go to ABC before they run out of liquor. All the essentials. And if you got to evacuate, I mean, I'm thinking ahead here, folks. Listen, if you're in an evacuation area, and if there's a hurricane warning, they go into mandatory evacuations in some spot. Make your hotel reservation now. Okay? Come to the West Coast. Scoot across Alligator Alley. Go to Fort Myers or Tampa. Because even if this thing came to Tampa, it would be a weak system crossing the state of Florida. So, you can always go to hotels.com, make a reservation, and cancel it. So if that happens, we'll see. 11 o'clock, we're going to know. And it's official. That's the official source. And I don't care if I'm wrong, to tell you the truth, because listen, if it ends up that they don't have a hurricane watch or warning, I don't care I was wrong, because we don't want one. Florida, nobody really wants one. It's, yeah, you get a little tingle inside when you got a storm coming because it's hurricane party time, but the way that 2020 is going, I don't really know how much more people can take. Here's the official track, and you can see this will get adjusted, but we're talking category 2, middle Bahamas here, 100 mile an hour. So that's nothing to laugh about. So, all right, so a couple links on my site real quick. Then we'll go look at. We haven't looked at Levi's models yet. Here's the microwave imagery showing the last 48 hours of Isaiah. And if it wasn't for the 1025 song, I would have no clue. And that's probably not even the right way to say it. But all right, so then I have a link here. It says Surge Estimates, and it's in bold because it's hard to find. So Surge Estimates is a great site, the Sierra site. It'll start updating more and more and more and more and more. We're already seeing surge. Look at that. So Hartswell, Georgetown, Moosetown. Not really sure where that's all at. I'm not a big Bahama guy. All I know where is wherever Royal Caribbean takes you. But we're seeing surge values. Obviously, counterclockwise spin, counterclockwise pushing water up. So if you're in, obviously if you guys are here, which I'm sure, hopefully you're preparing, we're already starting to see surge estimates increase across the Bahamas. And the backside of the, main island here, look, and this is because counterclockwise flow. You might wonder, why isn't there any surge on this side? Well, because if the storm passes here, we're going to have counterclockwise flow, and guess what? That water gets pushed back in here. So these surge estimates change, unfortunately, with the track. If the track ticks a little bit more to the west, then our surge across the island will increase. So this is a great site, and it'll get updated the next advisory at 11 o'clock. So a couple more notes before we go to Levi's site, which I keep saying. Let's take a look at that hot tower and see what it looks like. This is where center is, starting to blow up. Visible satellite. Right there. So, that's where center is. It's definitely hanging on. We're getting some, we could look at it too on another great site, the DuPage site. Very high resolution satellite here on their site. And they have a floater up, not the floaters that you see in a portalet, but an actual satellite floater. And it's right down here, mesoscale floater section, and you can see it right here. And it's high resolution, like I think it's 1 minute. Every 1 minute they do a pass. It's incredible imagery. So it is indeed developing an increasing convection burst. You can see the satellite, you can see the spin. This is exactly where the center is, and it's maintaining or strengthening. So we don't want to see this bubble bigger, because bigger bubbling bubbles spell trouble. Remember that. Bigger bubbling bubbles spell trouble. Well, it doesn't really spell trouble. It spells bubble. Trouble bubble. Bubbles are trouble. That'd be a cool shirt. Bubbles are trouble. Unless it's a dog named Bubbles and it's cute. What's up, Scott Fisk? How you doing, brother? Hey, thank you, Sam. Yeah, hey, I'm very humble when it comes to knowing islands. You know, I'm going to ramble on. That's what I do. But, you know, when I started this gig, it was only Florida I only cared about because I live in Florida. Then I started realizing we had fans in the Carolinas and we had fans in Texas. And then the next season, I remember I had to be reminded that we had fans in the Bahamas. And I'm like, oh, wow. And then I had to be reminded we had fans in the Virgin Islands with like Maria. And I'm like, oh, wow. Then last season, I remember we had fans in the Azores. I didn't even know where the Azores were. I had to Google it. Or Cape Verde. Or Barbados, or you know, Aruba. So, but Hispaniola, I got Haiti and DR confused. So I just, out of caution, I just say Hispaniola, because it's, and I'm still confused about the Lesser Antilles. I hear Levi say the Wayward Islands, Lesser Antilles. I feel like that's a cop out when I say the Lesser Antilles. So then I say the Eastern Caribbean just to cover everybody. Yeah, geography is not my suit. And that now you got this whole East Florida thing. Then I had to adjust the post earlier because it's the tip of Florida, so it's southeast Florida. But you guys get the drift. We got good people. Every now and then I get somebody a little mad, but that's okay. So all right. So the 06 Euro puts it into Florida. Levi's site has the 00Z and the 12Z, so he doesn't have the 6Z. So I don't even really want to show the 6Z or the OOZ, but in case it bounces back, I'll show it to you. So we'll take a look at it. So the latest GFS was the 06Z. Here's the latest GFS. Boom. Really, 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 really close with a, unfortunately, and here's that other little guy. This little guy. This is Louis, this is Hunter. Hunter's looking for his brother. He's like, where'd he go? I think I just go back home. So, kind of interesting, though. It does a loopy-doop. You can keep one eye on it if you want, but I'm not right now. All right, so here's your overnight 00Z Euro. Stronger system right on the coast of Florida, up into the Carolinas. Latest 6Z a little bit farther to the west. CMC. And you know, let me slow down a little bit. Oh, by the way, remember I got, this is how cool you fans are. All right, so I dissed, you know, I do feel guilty sometimes. All right, so I badmouth Starbucks a little too much. It's more of a joke with our family. And I had a supporter say, "Hey man, I work there. Don't." I'm like, that's. But look what I'm drinking today. Okay. So it's like a hater of Mike's Weather Page. They might hate me, but you're watching right now. So I don't hate Starbucks. I do think it's overpriced. How about that? All right, so here's the CMC. Oh, what I was going to say when I started stuttering. The models are not initializing this correctly as far as strength goes. The Recon just found 995, 996 pressure. So when you see, this is a point that I forget to bring up this season, but when you see the initialization of a model at 1003, it's not being fed the current data. So when you see a strengthening system on the CMC, or not a strengthening, it's going to, you know, 1,003 should be 995. So the CMC is showing a weaker system going into South Florida, kind of like the latest Euro. So again, a southern track into Florida is not going to be a rapid strengthening, likely. But again, CMC into South Florida, high pressure system. Always talked about his high pressure system. So the latest Euro and the latest CMC, a little stronger high, pushing into South Florida. So there's the CMC. And again, Carolinas, if this thing tracks towards Florida, the chances of you getting something major is less and less. There's no way this is going to come out of Florida and turn into a strong Cat 2-3 hurricane. If it stays off the coast of Florida over the warm Gulf Stream, then I'd be worried. So you got a few question marks ahead. Florida determines what the Carolinas get, and the rest going northward. So a couple more. Navy has been kind of all over this thing. Again, initialization is wrong. 1,003. It's actually 994, 995. Navy keeps it kind of weak, but look, see this trend? Look at that. So 3 models west, weak but still west, still possible hurricane. And then of course it keeps it kind of about the same up the East Coast. So that makes sense. The icon, we just show it. I'm not really sure the track history of it. But it's showing the East Coast skirt kind of landfalling into the Cape Canaveral area. So there's that. We can look at we already looked at H-Wharf and the H-Mod, but we'll look at it. I like Levi's one here because it opens it up. You can see more. And there, the H-Wharf right along, very close landfall, and then a turn up. Not a turn up. But there you go. So lots of consistency on this turn, and unfortunately, a possibility of a pretty big hurricane. Cat 1, 2, maybe more, if it doesn't hit Florida. But I didn't say that. Hopefully it doesn't. But we just have to watch these things. So, did you just say bigger building bubbles, Sandy? What do I really think, Mike? Well, I don't know. I've been saying west for a week, but I think South Florida is definitely going to be in the watches and warnings. This is a gut feeling. I would think it'd be irresponsible to not at least let people know there's a chance. Right now, they're only in a watch. So, maybe they know best, man. That 3-day track cone for the NHC is amazing. So again, you're in the cone here. The cone means that you can get the center of whatever Isaiah is. So, Florida's in the cone. Just because there's not a watch or warning up doesn't mean anything. 11 o'clock. Pay attention to 11 o'clock. Let's see some other maps. So we covered surge, we covered rain. Rain's all dependent upon where the actual system goes. We showed the seas forecast last night, which is really amazing. Here's some cool maps on this site before I close it. This is that on my site. If you go down here to Custom Storm Products, it's right here, and you can click all kinds of stuff. And we can click IR. I like to look at all of them. There's the old school infrared. We have water vapor, which is the one Levi uses a lot, and Bobby, I don't know if she's in here or not. But we have that dry air, hopefully going to entrain down in the bottom. So we're watching this dry. It's really the only negative ahead. The only negative right here in the short term today is dry air that I can see. Visible satellite. Oh, this is going to go to, that even zooms in higher. Let's go back to 2 km. That's little wider view. And then we can look at water temperatures. We can look at convergence and divergence. There's converge, diverge, vorticity, all this stuff. It's like overload, right? Dry. Let's go back to dry air. This is a cool one. Dry air. See, very little dry air ahead of it. So it's got a moist environment. And I'm going to get a grunt out of Julie now. That did not come out right. Shear right now currently to the north. It's going to enter an area of less shear. To me, I have not believed a shear forecast ever. You have to look at shear now. And now we have shear to the north, and now meaning 24 hours, 36 hours. So shear ahead's light. So, and we can look at water temperatures. Sea surface temperatures are obviously hot. Going into hotter water. Hotter water and bubbling bubbles are not good. So if we get hotter water and bubbling bubbles, not good right here. The ocean heat content, I don't think works on this site. Oh, now they got it back up again. Here's your water vapor heat. Here's your ocean heat content. This is how deep the hot water goes. You know, we're going to have pockets of hot water now around the Bahamas. Not necessarily a good thing. More hot water below the surface definitely helps intensifying systems. This is where we don't want a system. And we don't, so that's good. So anyway, it's a cool map site. So there's that. All right. What else we can look at? Let's see what else we can look at. Let's see if we have any hot towers still developing. I've already rambled on 1 hour. I can't believe it. I always wonder if I'm going to have stuff to talk about. Hey, Bobby. Thank you, Melody. You might have a little something showing up your way. Here's that unfortunate blow up that we're seeing. Little dry air to the east of it, but still, it's not dying. Put it to you that way. Not dying in 3/4 time, or whatever Buffett says. Hurricane hunters out there flying around right now. I got links on the site, tropicaltidbits.com. They're doing their sampling of air. Really curious what this latest convection burst is going to show. Definitely got a few wind barbs in it already, showing 83. Yeah, it's still strong. So yeah, listen. Okay, so good. Sammy, best thanks. All right. So yeah, I never give advice on evacuations. Trust me. That's not. I would feel terrible if I was wrong and somebody took my advice. So, luckily I'm not in that position to have to do that. So that's something I try to stay away from. Charleston doesn't seem worried. Now, see, Al, that's so irresponsible. Totally irresponsible. Any news channel in South Carolina and North Carolina that isn't telling people, hey, look, there's a strong possibility of a Cat 1-2 hurricane rolling in as early as Monday. That's Monday. It's only a few days. So, what you guys are looking at, of course, is Florida interaction weakens the system for you. Unfortunately, in the short term, the Bahamas are dealing with this now. Not to, I know they got a lot of people living down there. Luckily, this is not going to stall like Dorian, but it could still be. They're predicting officially 100-mile-an-hour hurricane. Let's see what they do. That's a big swing for the NHC. It's a big swing to say 75 mile an hour in one advisory, and then 6 hours later say 100 mile an hour. Boarding up windows is a tough call. H-Wharf, John, yeah, it's been great. H-Wharf and H-Mon have been great for intensity. All the other models are confused. Weaker systems go west. So look at this little bobble to the west. See, that's the last center fix from the NHC. So, so how far west will it go? That's the big question. NHC lives and dies on models, and when you have models now inching closer to a landfall, you have to put up some sort of watch or warning. You have to. Right? Right. And, you know, what happens with a warning, there's local government protocols on barrier islands, Miami, let's say. I don't know the local laws, but not that they're going to hold back, but maybe, you know, they want to be darn sure, obviously, that this thing could possibly impact Miami, let's say, who might create a huge issue with evacuations. You know, I don't want to talk Corona, so I'm not, but I don't know what totally unbiased, you know, thoughts here, but I don't know what would happen with current, you know, evacuations and shelters. I mean, maybe there's stuff going on behind the scenes that I'm sure they're dealing with that I'm glad I don't have to deal with, but I don't know what a hurricane warning for South Florida would mean as far as mandatory evacuations. I don't know, you know, what category it would be. So, you know, today is the day. Today is a very stressful day. So we'll have to see. All right. So if you're just tuning in, no really huge changes. We're waiting on an 11 o'clock advisory. North Carolina, South Carolina, northward, definitely, unfortunately, there's good signs of hurricanes coming. That's not a good sign. I gotta be, you know what I meant. There's support. I don't know. You know, you get the gist. So there you go. Hurricane hunters are flying. Wind maps, everything's updated. Website, they got the Miami website up as we'll start to see closing in. Timing again. I mean, listen, you know, good. Regardless of hurricane watches, warnings, whatever, this is where the timing could be. Saturday, 8 a.m. You could start feeling tropical storm force winds in the South Florida Keys, or actually 2 a.m. So tonight, this is Friday. So tonight, overnight tonight, according to NHC, tonight, late night, into tomorrow morning, you can start to see tropical storm force winds in South Florida. So this is not that, you know, it's a bigger system. So there, you know, it's slowing down maybe a tick, but we're talking this weekend. It's here. It's now. There you go, Kristen. Good point. So hey, it's all good. Got a lot to do. So hope I brought some good information to everybody. You know, the what ifs modeling. So in a nutshell, let's pull up something here. I'll leave. Let's pull up this site right here. Let's just pull up the Southwest site, and here's the scoop. All right. So in a nutshell, then I'm going to sign off because there's a lot to update. So bottom line, the system strengthened obviously overnight to a hurricane. The official forecast has it going to 100 miles an hour before slow weakening off the coast of Florida. Modeling overnight and morning models have little shifts to the west. So we're anxiously waiting if any parts of Florida will be under watches and warnings. North Carolina, South Carolina, northward, you definitely need to be paying attention. Any miss of Florida, likely storm coming your way early week, Monday, Tuesday, more likely the Monday. Let me make sure that I hate to go out here, but yep. So Monday it'll be on approach. So it looks like, you know, Monday would be the day. And because of building high pressure, we're going to have the center actually go more along the eastern seaboard up north. So we could have, you know, people all the way up in the northeast discuss, you know, talking about Isaiah. So in the short term, Bahamas, paying attention, alert, you know, staying alert. This thing's building. We're watching this hot tower cell. You can look at it here. I got direct links to weathernerds.org. You can click right here. This is where the center is starting to refire. So this is the area we're watching. And we'll see what happens. So stay safe, right? I'm gonna read comments now for the last few minutes as I drink cold, awesome, amazing Starbucks coffee. Now is the official coffee of Mike's Weather page. You can buy this Venti Black at your local. No. I had supporters joke with me that they announced unfortunately, any business closing is not good. But there was news of, unfortunately, Dunkin' Donuts, some of them are closing. So they're like, you better be nice to Starbucks. So how about we get 2 sponsors? We'll have Starbucks in the morning sponsor, Dunkin' Donuts at night. So anyway, listen, so if you guys are just tuning in, I do replay this at noon. And what's cool thing about the replay, the chat works. So I do that because I'm not in it, but people help people. And so it replays at noon. And we'll do one tonight, 8 o'clock. Tomorrow we'll do one 100% sure in the morning. Not sure the time. Might be a little earlier. We got softball tomorrow. And it's not far away, but I don't want to miss the first game. So it might be 8 o'clock in the morning tomorrow. The weekends are always a little more iffy. I might go 3 times tomorrow. I might go 4 times. I don't know. I might talk all day. I could talk all day. So, hey, Paul Judge, Cape Cod. Great to have you. Thanks for being a supporter. And listen, if you guys like the site, I mean, I hate, doing that. But, Facebook offers the option to be a supporter, and it's only $5 a month. And, it's not that much. Like I said, it's like tipping your bartender. I tip 4 times that every time we go out. So, appreciate that. Plus, you get some perks. And we got some cool stickers Julie's going to mail out to everybody. So, just for being a supporter, we're going to be mailing out free, official Mike's Weather Page supporter stickers. You can only get if you're a Facebook supporter. And if you stop being a Facebook supporter, we have your address. We are going to drive to your car and we're going to razor blade them off. You cannot be a Facebook supporter. You have to promise. We're going to make you sign a contract that if you stop being a supporter, you have to show a picture of you physically shredding your Mike's Weather Page sticker. So anyway, just joking. Maybe. No, I'm not. All right. Whitney, I see it. It's there. It's there, Whitney. Whitney Wiseman, I see it. Trust me, it says supporter +2. I promise, I see it. There's our buddy Brax. Hey, there's our buddy Casper. Casper will be on it. Thank you, Jesse. And we do talk weather all year. Every day of the year. I don't think I have not posted on Facebook since 2009. A day has not gone on that I have not posted weather or other shenanigans. Coastal South Carolina, Tracy. Cool information. So, you guys rock. All right. All right, well, listen, I got to sign off because I know my inbox is probably up. So I try to, I got to get this rebroadcasted. I got to be ready for the 11 o'clock. And look at now we're seeing purple. So this is definitely, growing hot tower. Bubble hot tower is not good. So not showing any signs of this weakening yet. And unfortunately, with shear ahead, I can see strengthening ahead. So let's hope not. Don't know, 1 or 2, Marcia. I think that is people that talk a lot. I don't know. You're +3 in my book. All right, all good. So we'll be live all day. I'll be posting. You can guarantee it. I wish I could have commented everybody, but we had a lot of people today. So, Ginger, you just messaged Julie. She's in the little chat room. But once the storm passes, we're going to actually reach out a different way and keep a log and make sure we get everything out to you. So all good. Yep, post away. Spread the word, Shelly. Yes, thank you. Share the word. Let's get to 1 million. Let's for the wrong reasons, let's hit that magical number of 1 million. And we can all say we did it during Isaiah or Isaiah. And if you missed our song, then we'll sign off. Here's our song. If you want to know how to say it, I'll play it. This will be our ending on 102.5. I'll be on 102.5 The Bone today, by the way, 3 o'clock, 3:30. Listen to me live. You can watch it online too. But here you go. If you want to learn how to say the word.
Magic Mike on the 1s and 2s, and he's giving y'all people the good news, and there's a hurricane, and it's coming our way, and it's got a funky name that's fun to say. Isaiah, 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 Isaiah.
Isaiah, coming for the water. Things are about to get a little bit hotter. It's big and it's scary and you better stock up. Get your guns and cock that up. Cause when Isaiah comes rolling through, you're gonna be scared, you won't know what to do. So get the water and get the food, and then smoke a fat blunt and chill out, dude.
Isaiah, 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 Isaiah. What's it called? Isaiah. Isaiah.
Got a name yet?
Isaiah. Isaiah. When
All
you're
right.
sitting at
Listen.
home with your
Listen.
12
Listen.
gauge, you decide to check out Mike's weather page. Then you listen to Domo
right.
Ari.
Gotta go. Love you guys. We'll see you later. Tonight, 8 o'clock. Bye.